Today we will go for SQL Server. Means we already gone for simple server controls, also validation controls. Now there is a turn of data control, but before we will go for data controls, we should move toward SQL Server. Generally with the PHP, the combination is MySQL, but as Microsoft Visual Studio is a Microsoft product, the general combination of .NET is with the SQL Server, or you can say SQL Server. So the first step will be the design of database in SQL Server. So first let me move toward SQL Server. So see again, here it's a SQL 2014 and SQL 2012. This is a management studio. This is not the SQL Server. Management studio means like Visual Studio. Visual Studio is not ASP.NET. It's a IDE, integrated development environment, by which you can create any ASP.NET application. So like that, this SQL Server Management Studio is again the IDE to manage the database. So let us go toward the SQL Server 2014 Management Studio, and again whenever I have created, or I have double clicked on this icon, one window connect to server is open. Here I am asking two things. One is server name of the server with which I want to connect. So here PUJHP is the name of computer, slash SQL 2005 is the name of SQL Server instance which is installed on my computer. So on my computer 2005 is installed, 8 is installed, 12 is installed, and 14 is installed. And each and every server which is installed on my computer is having one instance name. So here I am specifying on PUJHP computer, SQL 2005 is a database, it's a SQL server to which I want to connect. If you are working online and the server is hosted somewhere else, at that time you need to specify the IP address and the server name which the server provider has given you to connect. Here authentication, there are two authentication. One is Windows authentication and one is SQL Server authentication. That means what? If I want to connect with the SQL Server, if I want to work with the server, I must have some authentication. One authentication is Windows. That means what? The server is installed on my computer. I am authorized Windows user. I am administrator of this particular computer. So using my Windows credential, you connect with the server. That is the Windows authentication. Another is SQL Server. If to access a particular database, I have created username and password, then I need to specify that one. So if in future, if you are working with the online application and the database is online, at that time you need to specify the name of SQL Server which is online. Over here, it may be the IP address or the name of the SQL Server which the user has provided. See, here I have mssql.mssql1.cp247.net. So one SQL Server which I routinely work online. One is EPSLion.wwh network, like that. This is IP address. This is a dedicated SQL Server. So, but right now we are working with the local computer. So I am just selecting this one. I am selecting the Windows authentication and just to connect to the server. Once I connect to the server, at the left side, one window is there. It is called as the Object Explorer. Whatever the different objects of the SQL Server will be there. Object means what? Database is object. The query which you have stored, it is called as the stored procedures. That is object. Primary key, foreign key, the relationships, it is objects. Different database functions which you have created for your ease is an object. So all the objects of the database is going to be displayed into this object explorer. So let us go for databases. Right now only one database is there. I need to create one database. So let us start the SQL Server by creating a database. So before we'll start with the database, we assume that we want to create a student management system. You assume. So let me write a small database in Excel for a student management system. First is name of column. Is it visible to you? Okay. Column name and data type and constraint or any other description. So just I'm creating one table. હું એક table create કરું છું અને નામ રાખું છું right now say country. Name of table is country. So let me have the table name over here. You save this one and tell it it's a data dictionary. First column will be primary key. First column will be primary key. So country, ID, data type, integer, constraint, primary key and not null. Description means what? If some column is there, if you want to write down the use of that particular column, so that is a description. Right now no description of this particular column. So first is the country ID. This is the name of table. So you can say data type integer, primary key not null. Second will be country name. Say country name varchar. So varchar is a variable characters data type of a SQL Server, and if you want the unique key or not, whatever, but right now no constraints. And then country code varchar say 50. So this is country table. Now let us have a state table. State ID will be integer and primary key not null. Then one will be country ID, that will be the foreign key or country table. Country ID integer, that is foreign key, but of which table? Country table. And allow null. It may be allow null, it may be not allow null, but right now make it allow null. State name varchar 100 and not null. So again write not null and allow. So this is state table. Now let us have city table. City ID primary key not null. State ID integer fk state table allow null. City name varchar not null. Pin code varchar 10 allow null. STD code varchar allow null. So these three tables are there. Now one more table, that is a department of student, because we are having a student management system. So I am going to store the data of the student. So before I am going to create the student table, these are the prerequisite, or you can say master tables. So now say department or branch. Department table, in which department ID, that is primary key, not null. Department name, varchar 50, not null. Department code, varchar 10, allow. So again, this is department table, and now the final table I am creating, there is a student table. Again, student ID, that will be integer, primary key, not null. Second one will be the basic is enrollment number. So enrollment number, say varchar 12, not null. Then student name, varchar not null. Then department ID, that is integer, and it is a foreign key of table department. Then let us save the address detail, that is address varchar 250, allow null. City ID integer, that is foreign key of city table. State ID integer, that is foreign key of state table, and allow null. Country ID foreign key country table, allow null. Then ask CPL, it will be decimal, maximum શું હોય 9.9 અથવા તો 10 હોઈ શકે, બરોબર છે. that is maximum, that is not કે પોઈન્ટ પહેલા 2 ડિજિટ દેવા પડે, આપણે 10.00 or 9.99 અથવા 9.9 આ રીતે હોઈ શકે. સો ડેસિમલ આપણે આ રીતે લખી શકાય 42, that means 4 ડિજિટનો નંબર હશે, એમાં ડોટ પછી કેટલા હશે 2 ડિજિટ્સ હશે. તો લોજિકલી મેક્સિમમ નંબર તમે 99.99 સ્ટોર કરી શકશો. બટ બીજા કન્સ્ટ્રેન્ટ મૂકવાના છે, દેટ વિલ બી યોર રેન્જ વેલિડેટર, તમે 1 થી 10 સુધીનું મૂકી શકો છો, બરોબર છે. દેટ ઇઝ અલાઉ. Birth date, time, date time is the one data type, so birth date, date time. So these are the different tables which I have created in Excel, that is a data dictionary. Now the same tables I want to create into SQL Server. So how to create table, how to give primary key, how to give foreign key, how to create constraint in SQL Server. This is necessary thing. So now let us go. First, create database. The first operation is to create a database. How to create database? So right click on databases, new database. So now a new window with name new database is created. Now give the name of database student management system 2015. Now you think, whenever you will created the database in MySQL, where exactly MySQL is going to create a database for you in your hard disk. Hard disk માં કઈ જગ્યાએ database create કરે છે MySQL? Have you thought of that? Okay. You also gone for Oracle. You think where exactly the Oracle is going to create a database for you? Do you know the exact location where the database is created by you in Oracle? No. Well, what is database? Database is nothing but a file. Logically, everything in hard disk is a file. So here in a SQL Server, whenever I am going to create a database, say SMS, that is a Student Management System 2015. So one MDF file and one LDF. MDF is a data file and LDF is a log file of the data. Is going to be created automatically for me. The default path is C program file Microsoft SQL Server MS SQL .1 MS SQL/data. This is a location at which the database is going to be created for me. I can change this path. What will be the name of files? One is SMS 2015 and the one is SMS 2015_log. Okay, so I am. So this is a primary raw data file, and second one is a log file. So right now, let me create one more folder. We have already created a folder in a D drive Darshan 2015 DIET. So let me create one more folder named database here, and let me specify the path. I want to create a database over here only. So I can take a backup and I can move this database whenever in future I am requirement. So here what I am doing is I am just specifying the path and changing the path. And now you just press OK button. See, so here two files are created. One is SQL Server database primary data file, that is what in which the actual data is going to be there. And second one is SQL Server database transaction log file. Whatever the log which has been created by the SQL Server for you is going to be maintained by SQL Server for you, but the always data is going to be there with the first one, that is SMS 2015 dot MDF file. This is MDF file and this is LDF file, that is a log file. So now it is there with your Management Studio. So you can say, right now you can say technically that in SQL Server with name instance SQL 2005, the database is attached. Database is attached, so you can work with this particular database. But suppose right now if you want to move this file, if you want to have backup of this file, if you want to move this file from one computer to another computer, so at that time if the database is attached, you cannot move, you cannot copy, you cannot paste. Suppose these two files are there and I want to archive. The process cannot access the file because it is being used by another process, because it is already attached by SQL Server. So if you have to use this file, I have to move this particular database, then what I need to do is that right click, task detach from here. Right now it is attached with the SQL Server, so I need to detach the file. You detach and make it OK. Now this database is not attached with my SQL Server. Now I can manipulate this file. Just stop. Now it is released. Again, if you want to use the same file, right click and attach the database. You need to give the path of MDF file Darshan 2015 databases, and here SQL 2015.mdf file is there. Just make it OK, and now it is again attached and it is appear over here. Now there is a first step, the creation of database. If it is not required right now, then you detach. So if your work is completed, the best practice is you detach the database, so it is not going to be corrupted. And whenever you want to work with, you just attach your database and you just start working on that particular database. Now the second step is creation of tables. So this database is there. See, the database diagrams are there, tables, views, programmability. That means store procedure is there, the different functions is there, triggers are there. All will be there, but right now not a single object is there. So it is all object is going to be blank. So right now nothing, not a single table is there. You just click on there. So here no tables are there. So if I have to create the table, so right click, create the table. So now I can design the table. The first table is country table. I just remember this one, so let me write it. First column will be country ID, data type integer, allow null, no, don't allow null. Second one, country name. So here in a drop down list, I am having the different data types which is supported by SQL Server 2005. So I need to just select data type from here. So varchar 700, not allow null, then country code varchar 50 and allow null. Now still I have not saved this table. If I want to save this table, either Control S or here the save table hyperlink is there. So you just save. So it is going to ask me for the name of the table. So name of the table is country refresh. So now the table is there. Now you close this one. So again this is object explorer, and here it is the object explorer detail. Whatever the tab is going to be clicked, the detail of that particular thing will be at the right side. Now tables. So table, but still I have not defined the primary key. So again I want to open the same table into design mode. I want to change the design of this particular table. So right click and go for design. In the edit mode it is going to be there. So primary key आप पीछे तो right click on the column, right click on the column. से country ID ने आप पीछे right click on the country ID. Simply શું છે set primary key. Okay, just set. तो जो key આવી ગઈ. This diamond color, sorry, golden color, or you can say a yellow color, indicates the primary key. Say country name છે. You want a unique key. Country name ने unique key આપી છે. It must be unique. So for that you right click on the country name, and then there is one option indexes and keys. You just press on this one. Here one key is already there, primary key. Now I want to add more key, that is add. Then you need to specify the name of column. Which one? Country name. Okay. Now whether which type of key, index key or unique key. So I want a unique key. So my country name is a now unique key for me. Close and set the data. Now this table is ready to use for me. If I want to insert the data, then how I can insert? Insert करो तो MySQL में कैसे insert करता था? So here right click, edit top 200 rows. Country ID 1, auto increment નથી રાખેલું આપણે અત્યારે. Country name India, code +91. Country ID 2, Pakistan +92. 3, China +92. So it has been inserted. Now if I want to file different queries against database, then there is a query window. Press on new query. So new window is going to be open to fire a query. See, हमारा माटे a blank query window open થઈ ગઈ છે. So now I can fire any query. Here you must check which database is selected. Right now it is selected SMS 2015. So I can write a simple select star from country. So now here I am going to get result. So just you compile the query and you're going to get the result. Is it okay? Now we right click and open into the edit mode. Say I want the primary key to be auto increment by default. I don't want to insert the value of a primary key. It must be decided by the table itself. So in that case, identity specific, I have just selected this one. So all the properties of that particular column is here. Say here is the column properties of selected column. So what I am doing is identity specification. Right now it is no. Then you specify yes. It must be identity. Then two things. It is by default set. What is identity increment and what is identity seed? Increment will assume that by default whenever the new row is going to be inserted, so only one increment should be there. First is 1, 2, and what will be the first value? So when 50 લખીશ તો શું થશે? પહેલું 50 થી ચાલુ થશે, 1 લખીશ તો 1 થી ચાલુ થશે, and you just save. Okay. Now again if I am going and I am going to edit the rows, so see now this is read only mode because it is going to be decided by the computer. So now there is only need to write down the country ID, just Sri Lanka plus 94 and tab. So automatically the SQL Server has taken the auto increment value. So this is what the way by which you can create the auto increment value. Now let us create the new table so we can come across a situation of a foreign key. There is a second table. Create a new table. State ID, integer, not null, and primary. Second will be entry ID, integer, whether it is allowed now or not, that is up to you. So make it not now. But I want it to be a foreign key. But let us first create some more columns. State name and then varchar 100. Save this table and give the name state table. Again, the state ID I want it to be a auto increment. So we go for identity specification. Is identity yes. Now I want a foreign key. I want a country ID to be a foreign key of a country table. So for that, see here there is a icon of relationships. You just press on this relationship button. So foreign key relationship window is open. Right now there is no any foreign key is there for any table. Just add the foreign key. So it is a name of the relationship fk underscore state underscore state. Here I need to specify tables and column specifications. Tables and column specifications. You click over here, then here it is asking which is a primary table country, and of primary table country ID is a primary key, and in foreign key, foreign table is a state table in which I am having a country ID which works as a foreign key. So country table, its primary key, that is country ID, that is a primary key table and it's a primary key. This is foreign table, that is a state table, is a foreign table in which the foreign key is a country ID. It is going to be mapped and make it OK and cross. We just save. The following tables will be saved. Okay. Now see again, I am not going to be able to view the foreign key, but it is going to be there with refresh. Go for state table, go for different columns. See this one golden is a primary key and this silver key is a foreign key. So this indicates now the foreign key has been already established. Is it clear? So this is a way by which you can apply the foreign key. Now let me create. Now let me just type speedily. Now city ID, city name, varchar code, std code, varchar. Again, I want more keys. Insert column, country ID, integer, state ID, integer. You say name is city. Right click, set primary key, and make it auto increment. Relationship. First is country table, country ID, city table, country ID. Okay. Second key is state table, state ID, city table, state ID. Okay. So two keys are there. Let me create one more table, that is department ID, department name, right click and set as primary key, not allow null. Close this one. Table, student ID, and then I will have enrollment number, varchar, tell student name, varchar, say maybe more than 50, say 100. Then I am having department ID, it will be the foreign key, and then address, varchar 250, then city ID, state ID, country ID, mobile, email, birth date, CPI, decimal, 4 to you save student table. Now let me set the student ID or a primary key. Yes, it's a primary key now. Enrollment number not allow null, and it should be unique key. Right click, index and keys, add a new one, that is enrollment number, and make it unique key. Student name not allowed null, department is compulsory. So now all other things are not compulsory. So this table is created. Right click and refresh. So see, this has been created. City, country, department, state, and student. Again, I have not set the foreign keys. Yes, so let me go in the design mode and city table, city ID, state table, state ID, department table, refresh. Now all keys are there. Now we are ready to work with this particular database. One more thing, we are having a database diagrams. So whenever I am going to click on this database diagram, it is asking me, this database does not have one or more of the support objects required to use a database diagram. Do you want to create? Yes. New database diagram. So it is asking me how many tables you want to add to your database diagrams. So you add, and close. See, the database diagram is ready. Here you can easily view different tables and the foreign keys and like this. So this is one, and also you can export this one as an image and you can use the same thing into your report. So this is database diagram, say diagram 0. So now refresh, the database diagram is established. Again you can move as per your ease. As per your ease you can move this table so like this. But it's again a nice look. So this is the database. Again we have learned how to create database, how to create table, how to give constraints like this. So again this is what the end of database.